a sale on today, so we're looking for things for the shepherd's hut. In the true spirit of the shepherd's hut, it's all got to be repurposed, so on and so forth. It's significant because in 2005 my mum had ovarian cancer and she passed away here, and unfortunately next month the home is closing, so it won't be here anymore for other people to have the experience that we had. It was a nice place for my mum to be, and the staff were absolutely amazing, cared for her and they cared for us afterwards as well.
Thundery wintry showers, good, occasionally poor.
The number of flood warnings in Scotland and Northern England increased markedly over the last 24 hours.
Hamilton and Motherwell. New Zealand beat Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in Group A of the Women's T20 World Cup in Australia.
Okay then, back down the hut. We're sorting out the new ceiling. So, I think it's me currently. Right. There is a support beam which is screwed through into a wooden board on these little brackets that I've cut. So there's one support beam at that end, and it's hard up against the current ceiling because I want to leave as much height as possible. I could have dropped it lower. If you can see that the beading runs along there, I was going to go underneath that, but actually by the time the boards are on I'm going to be losing well, almost 3 inches, about 2.5 inches in height in here. So I wanted to make it as high as possible, so I've sort of screwed through to a timber that's bolted to the outside. I've reused one of these middle pieces that I'd previously taken out. I've reused one of those as a central support, because this roof, let's just show you this, it just flexes, see, and there's slight cracking on that. It's not doing anything now, that roof, but I need support in the middle ish anyway. And then and the positioning of this bit is screwed on to, again, there's a timber board on the outside of this, but this is directly above a central wooden batten that runs all the way down there as part of the original trailer, so that's a good weight loading point. Same thing here, made up some brackets and just screwed in another one. I had to sort of shimmy this around the flue pipe, just cut this out around that bit of fireboard. So yeah, we're sort of good to start thinking about putting the ceiling boards on now, which will be a bit faffy, but hopefully we'll get going. So there's the first couple of boards on. As you can see, I'm losing about, well, it's about 2 inches of space there, and then obviously I've got the thickness of the board, which is, in this case, is 20mm, I believe. So not losing too much. This bit will be the backs of the fiberglass here, that's all be boarded up as well from above this timber work, so it'll go straight up on the sides, and on the ends where I've got these brackets, it's going to be coming up at an angle, so all of this bit here will be covered as well, so it should look fairly neat. It's certainly going to look a lot neater than it did. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, it's winter time. As you can see, I've got a pallet causeway across to my log store, my wood store, where all these long planks are being stored up. So we're far from ideal conditions, but it's the only time we get.
Hello, you join me on yet another very wet day.
and I've reached a point on the ceiling where I have reached the centre, and so I need to put in some lighting. So what I've got are these lights, which are just simple LED lights, with each one with a little switch on, so they can be switched independently. So that saves having to have a light switch on the wall. I've got 3 of those. I'm going to have one up above the door, one in the middle, and one up above the bed. Now the reason I've stopped the ceiling here is because we've got to run the wiring. The wiring needs to run down. So all of this is going to be boarded in. So this wiring needs to run down behind these boards. So I'm retrofitting. Now there's a support bar that runs all the way along there, that of course these are all nailed to, and I've had to sort of prise them off, and run the cable down to the electric controllers down under the bed. I've just discovered that, excuse me, oh that's a bit cramped, at the bottom there's another bar that I'd forgotten about that these are attached to. So my cable's sort of got stopped somewhere about here. So I'm just going to drill a hole through and see if I can fish around for it. Slightly destructive, but yay! For people that only normally get to come down here in summer, this is what winter looks like. I've got a causeway of pallets to the woodshed where I've got my timber stored up. I've got a little puddle outside the roundhouse. I have to step around a corner outside the toilet, which is just down there. Normally get a puddle down there as well. The field is very, very squelchy, which is why I can't have people camping down here this time of year. It's just too wet and everything. It does provide the ideal time for me to get on with a bit of work, which is always good. So, and the improvements keep coming. Well, I've sort of run out of time really for today, but ceiling's coming on well. So we've got the lights on, they're all wired in, they're wired in permanently now, so they're just all switchable on each of the little individual switches. And the last one over here. So that in itself is a massive upgrade. Let me put this one back on. See? Massive upgrade on what I had before, because the lights that were in here before were plugged into like a cigarette style lighter thing, and so if you even notched them slightly they'd flicker and go out and all this sort of stuff. But this is now permanently wired in to the sort of solar controller, so that's great. And the roof is progressing, the ceiling, sorry, is progressing. I've reached a point where I'm going to need a piece of metal, you know, in this area, so I can get one more board on. Then I'm going to have to put like a heat shield up, and then yeah, so I've got to do a bit of work here. I'll probably have to put another batten through there or something somehow, so I can screw to here, because obviously I won't be able to go right past that for the time being. So yeah, a little bit more thinking to do there, a little bit more work, but I've got plenty of spare batten and things, so that's not a problem. Right then, the ceiling is now all the way across. So that in itself looks a lot better. Obviously you can see the lights are all fixed up in position. I do need to get some more timber, and I've got a source of second-hand timber, because I'm going to be filling in these bits around the side. The boarding I had the leftovers. I didn't have quite enough, and it would need a massive sort of like piece there to fill that in, so I decided I'd find some extra after I'd sort of semi-done that one. So I've sort of changed my mind on that. And I just need to find a piece of metal to put over here around the chimney pipe. So that's good. So yeah, that bit's coming together. And the next thing is sorting out this old cooker that is new to us. I've got the top at the yard, but I took this off to a caravan place to get the sizing for the gas fitting that's got to go in here, because this is off my old one. I need a coupler that will go from this to that, and they didn't have any of the right size, but we did manage to work out what size it was, so I've managed to order those. Their suppliers didn't do them, but I've managed to order one of those, which hopefully I've got right on the internet. But this is a little gas hob. It's actually off a boat, this gas hob, grill and a little oven, so that's fab. And that's going to end up getting put in this corner. Then there'll be a bit of worktop, and then probably a sink, this side sink and tap there. So that's the next bit. Building up the kitchen is really the next part. So absolutely loads to do, but it's coming along and I'm enjoying it, so that's a real bonus. You know, it's it feels good to be doing it. Yeah, should be a nice space when it's all done, despite its limitations because of it being a former ice cream trailer. It should be a decent space nonetheless.